Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our channel where you learn real English through real-life stories. Today, you're about to listen to one of the most emotional, powerful, and unforgettable biographies ever told. This is not just a story, it's a journey. A journey of pain, love, heartbreak, loss, fame, kindness, and silent strength. This is the story of Keanu Reeves. You know him from The Matrix, John Wick, Speed, and many more. But what you don't know is that he was very close to death. He lived a life full of pain, sacrifices, and silent tears. He didn't just act in movies, he lived through storms. He lost his father, his daughter, his girlfriend, his best friend, and almost lost himself. But still, he stood up every time, quietly, humbly, and strongly. He trained day and night to become Neo in the Matrix. He gave up millions of dollars to support others. He still rides the subway like a normal person. He still helps homeless people without cameras or attention. He still lives like a simple man with a golden heart. And that's why this story is not just entertainment. It is a powerful English listening lesson. You will learn how to understand English, feel real emotions, and improve your vocabulary while listening to the most inspiring life story ever. But before we begin, please subscribe to our channel to support us and enjoy more stories like this one. Now, put on your earphones, sit back, and feel every single moment of this journey. Let's begin. Keanu Charles Reeves was born on September 2nd, 1964, in a city far away called Beirut in Lebanon. His mother, Patricia Taylor, was from England. She was a costume designer, creative, smart, and independent. His father, Samuel Nowlin Reeves Jr., was from Hawaii, with a mix of Chinese, Hawaiian, and English roots. He worked as a geologist, but later struggled with drugs and left the family. When Keanu was just 3 years old, his father walked away from their lives. And by the time Keanu was 6, his father completely disappeared. Keanu never saw him again. His mother was left alone, raising 2 kids. They moved again and again, from Beirut to Australia, then to New York, and finally to Toronto, Canada. Keanu grew up with a younger sister named Kim Reeves. He loved her deeply. Later in life, when she got cancer, Keanu stayed by her side like a real-life superhero. His mother married 4 different men. So Keanu had to live with different stepfathers. Some were kind, some were not. He changed schools many times. He often felt alone, like an outsider. But one thing was clear. Keanu was different. Keanu had a tough time in school. He was diagnosed with dyslexia, a learning disorder that made it hard for him to read and focus. He once said, "I was never good at school. I didn't fit in. I struggled to read. I wasn't the best student." He went to 4 different high schools in just 5 years. But Keanu was not lazy. He was smart, just not in the traditional way. He had a deep imagination, and he was curious about everything. Here's something not everyone knows. Keanu loved chess. He used to play against adults in the park, and sometimes he would win easily. He once said, "I love chess. It's a war on a board. The strategy, the patience, the pain, it's like life." But even in chess, he often played alone. It was his escape from the world. Keanu also had a passion for ice hockey. He played as a goalkeeper, and he was amazing at it. His teammates called him the Wall because no one could score against him. He dreamed of becoming a professional ice hockey player, maybe even going to the Olympics one day. But that dream ended when he got injured. He had to stop playing seriously. This moment broke him inside. But sometimes, when one dream ends, another begins. In school, Keanu joined a drama class. He stood on stage, performed a scene, and something clicked inside him. He felt free. He could be anyone, feel anything, speak what was in his heart. That's when he thought, maybe I could become an actor. His heart was set. At the age of 17, he officially dropped out of school and said goodbye to traditional education. He started doing theater, TV commercials, and small roles in Canada. To survive, he worked part-time as a cook, a manager, and even a pasta chef in a restaurant. He had no support, no special contacts, no money. But he had one thing: unbreakable will. At age 20, Keanu took his old Volvo car, said goodbye to Canada, and drove to Los Angeles. Alone, hungry, unknown, but filled with hope. He wanted to chase his dream in Hollywood, where stars are made or broken. He had no big plan, no agent, no family waiting for him. He just had a dream and a little money in his pocket. He stayed at his stepfather's place for some time, but soon he was on his own. He started visiting acting studios, knocking on doors, and auditioning for anything: TV ads, background roles, even theater in small basements. And guess what? People didn't understand him. They found his name Keanu too strange. So at first, agents told him to change it to something easy and American. Can you believe that? They told him, "You won't get roles with a name like Keanu." But Keanu didn't like fake things. He tried using the name Keanu Reeves briefly, but it didn't feel right. So he said, "No, my name is Keanu Reeves. I'll make it work." He finally got his first small movie role in a Canadian film called One Step Away, 1985. Not many watched it, but Keanu's face began to show up. Then came a bigger opportunity: River's Edge, 1986. This was a dark and emotional film, a story about teens and murder. Keanu played a boy who tries to make sense of his world falling apart. His performance was natural, raw, and people started saying, "There's something special about this guy." During these early years, Keanu traveled a lot. He went back and forth between Toronto and Los Angeles. He didn't care about money or fame. He cared about acting, honesty, and real emotions. He used to drive thousands of miles just to act in a play or join a film, even if it paid very little. He didn't party. He didn't chase luxury. He just wanted to work hard and create real art. In 1989, something unexpected happened. Keanu got the role of Ted in a crazy comedy film, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It was a time travel comedy about two teenage guys who are not very smart, but lovable. The movie became a surprise hit. People loved it. Suddenly, Keanu became a teen star. Posters, interviews, magazines. But he didn't want to be seen as a silly actor. He wanted to do serious roles too. After Bill and Ted, many people thought Keanu was only good for dumb, cute roles. But Keanu didn't want to be typecast. He rejected many offers. He said no to big money, just because he didn't feel the role was true to him. He once said, "I'd rather ride the subway and read Shakespeare than act in a bad film." Can you imagine how brave that is in a city like Hollywood? In 1991, Keanu acted in My Own Private Idaho with his best friend River Phoenix. It was a very deep film, emotional, painful, about lost people searching for love. Keanu showed the world that he could be a serious actor. He became close friends with River Phoenix. They were like brothers, both kind, both silent, both full of pain inside. But on October 31st, 1993, River tragically died from a drug overdose at just 23 years old. Keanu was devastated. He stayed silent about it for a long time, but it was clear that losing River broke him. Keanu became quieter, more thoughtful, and he no longer cared about fame. Instead, he focused on doing meaningful work and living a simple life. Even years later, he would speak about River with love and sadness. In an interview, when asked about death, Keanu said, "The ones who love us will miss us." That line showed just how much he still missed his friend. Losing River changed Keanu deeply, but it also made him a more compassionate and humble person. During this time, Keanu lived very simply. He loved motorcycles. He once said they gave him a feeling of freedom and danger. He also loved reading philosophy. Books like Thus Spoke Zarathustra and The Brothers Karamazov. He didn't like parties. He often sat alone in cafes with a book and black coffee. Sometimes people saw him feeding stray dogs. Sometimes he was seen sitting quietly in the park, just watching the world. Fame didn't change him. He said, "Money doesn't mean anything to me. I give away what I don't need." In 1994, Keanu got a script that changed his life. A movie called Speed. A bus, a bomb, a cop, a thrilling race against time. Keanu played Jack Traven, a calm, strong police officer. This movie was a super hit. Keanu became a global superstar overnight. People screamed his name. Directors wanted him. His posters were everywhere. But guess what? He didn't let the fame go to his head. When the producers asked him to do Speed 2, he said no, because the story didn't feel right. They offered him millions, but he walked away. He chose honesty over money. In the late 1990s, something unbelievable happened. A script landed on his table, something strange, futuristic, and powerful. It was called The Matrix. The directors were the Wachowski siblings. They wanted Keanu to play Neo, the one, the savior, the hacker who would change the world. Keanu didn't fully understand the script at first, but he felt something powerful in it. So he said yes. And then he started training 4 to 5 hours a day. Martial arts, wire work, shooting, philosophy. He trained so hard that he damaged his spine. His neck was injured. He had to undergo surgery before filming. But he didn't tell the directors. Why? Because he didn't want to stop the movie. He continued training with pain in his neck and numb legs. This was real sacrifice. And when The Matrix, 1999, was released, it changed cinema forever. Keanu became Neo, and Neo became a legend. The world saw him as a superhero, a fighter, a savior. But what they didn't see was that Keanu was slowly dying inside. After training for months, even with a damaged spine, Keanu pulled off the impossible. The Matrix, 1999, became a global revolution. People all over the world said, "Who is this man? He's not just an actor, he's something else." But while the movie exploded across theaters, Keanu was going through silent pain. His spine injury had left him with numbness in his legs, and some days he couldn't even stand properly. Still, he never complained. He just took physical therapy, quietly did his exercises, and went back to work. In 1998, Keanu met a young woman named Jennifer Syme. She was a kind, soft-spoken assistant to a famous director. They met at a party. She wasn't impressed by his fame. She liked his shyness and honest eyes. They started dating. For the first time in years, Keanu smiled like a boy. They listened to music together. They talked about poetry. They watched sunsets in silence. And then, in 1999, Jennifer became pregnant. Keanu was going to be a father. He was so happy. He bought books about babies. He decorated a small room in his house for the baby. He once whispered to a friend, "I've never been this excited in my life." But in December 1999, just weeks before the baby was due, tragedy struck. Their daughter, Ava Archer Syme Reeves, was stillborn. That means she died inside the womb before birth. Keanu was shattered. Jennifer was broken. The pain was too much. Their relationship ended a few weeks later, but they still cared for each other deeply. Keanu became quiet again. He would sit alone on the floor for hours. No TV, no phone, no music, just silence. In April 2001, just 18 months after losing their daughter, Jennifer died in a car crash. She was driving home from a party. She was just 28 years old. When Keanu got the news, he didn't scream. He didn't cry in public. He just stood still. He went home and sat on the same couch where they once watched movies together. He said nothing. That week, he canceled all interviews. He didn't attend Hollywood parties. He didn't talk to anyone. He walked alone at night. He visited the cemetery silently. He later said in an interview, "Grief never ends. It just changes form." Despite the pain, Keanu showed up for work. In 2001 to 2002, he started filming The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions back to back. He trained again, even harder than before. But this time, his eyes were different. He was no longer acting. He was using his real pain to play Neo, the man who carries the weight of the world. He refused to use body doubles for most action scenes. He fought. He flew. He fell. All with a heart full of grief and a body full of injuries. He even gave away $75 million from his salary to the special effects and costume teams. He said, "They're the real heroes. They made this movie." Can you imagine that? Most actors fight for money. Keanu gave his money away silently. During these years, Keanu didn't date anyone. He didn't attend film premieres unless necessary. He spent time in his garage, fixing motorcycles. He read books about life, death, Zen, meditation, and loneliness. His favorite authors? Hermann Hesse, Dostoevsky, and Nietzsche. He would visit bookstores late at night, buy 5 to 6 books, and read them while sitting on the floor under a single lamp. He wasn't trying to escape pain. He was trying to understand it. In 2005, Keanu took another deep role. John Constantine, a man fighting demons, both from the outside and from within. It was a dark film, spiritual, mysterious. And once again, Keanu poured his soul into it. Why? Because he understood what it meant to feel like you're between heaven and hell. By now, Keanu was one of the richest actors in Hollywood. But here's the truth. He lived in a small apartment. He often rode the subway. He gave millions to children's hospitals, anonymously. He once gave a $20,000 tip to a set worker who was struggling. He often sat and ate with homeless people, without cameras. One time, someone asked him why he was so generous. He replied, "I know what pain feels like. I want to help someone feel a little less of it." In the middle of his career, Keanu was also taking care of his sister, Kim. She'd been fighting leukemia, a type of blood cancer, for years. He spent millions of dollars for her treatment, stayed by her side through chemo, and took breaks from filming just to cook for her and read to her. He once said, "My sister is my hero." Thanks to his support, Kim survived. But he never spoke much about it. He only smiled and said, "She's doing better. That's all that matters." By 2007, Keanu had everything: money, fame, respect. But inside, he was still lonely. He didn't go out, he didn't date, he didn't post on social media. People started calling him the sad guy of Hollywood. But Keanu didn't care. He said, "Being alone is not the same as being lonely. I like my space." And that's how he lived. A silent warrior, carrying his pain like armor. Keanu Reeves sat in his small apartment in Los Angeles. It was 2007. He had no wife, no children, no family close by. Only books, a guitar, a few motorcycles, and silence. He wasn't sad, but he wasn't happy either. He had accepted life as it was, full of pain, surprises, and small moments of peace. Every evening after reading or watching old movies, Keanu would go into his garage. He had custom motorcycles, not just for riding, but for building, piece by piece. He would sit on the floor, wear an old white t-shirt, and open his toolbox. No cameras, no helpers, just him and the machine. He once said, "When I ride a motorcycle, I feel free. It's just me, the engine, and the wind." Motorcycles reminded him of life. Fast, dangerous, and beautiful. In 2011, something happened. Keanu met a bike engineer named Gard Hollinger. Keanu had a dream: to build his own motorcycle brand, not for profit, not to become famous, but to create art on two wheels. Together, Keanu and Gard worked for 5 years. They designed, tested, failed, and redesigned. In 2015, they finally launched Arch Motorcycle. It wasn't cheap. Each bike cost over $85,000. But that didn't matter to Keanu. He said, "This isn't about money, it's about soul. Each bike is unique, like a person." He still test rides every model himself. Even today, he wears his helmet and takes long rides through hills and mountains far from Hollywood. During this time, Marvel and DC were growing fast. They called Keanu. They said, "Would you like to be Batman? Would you like to be Iron Man?" But Keanu said no. He didn't want to be another billionaire in a superhero suit. He wanted stories that had meaning, pain, heart. Roles where the character loses everything, but still stands up. That's what he was waiting for. Even after doing dozens of movies and earning over $300 million, Keanu's life was still quiet and humble. He didn't buy a mansion. He didn't hire bodyguards. He didn't throw wild parties. He would wake up, make coffee, take his books to the park, and read under a tree. He would go to public restaurants, wait in line, and tip waiters generously. He gave money to people on the street, but not in a showy way. He would sit down with them, talk, laugh, share food. One time, a tourist secretly filmed him giving his sandwich to a homeless man and talking for hours. The video went viral. People said, "He's the most humble man in Hollywood." Here's what Keanu's day looked like between 2007 and 2013. Morning. Woke up around 7 a.m. Made black coffee. Played guitar. Read books. Late morning. Went to the gym for a short workout. Sometimes practiced martial arts to stay sharp. Afternoon. Meetings with his motorcycle company or visited his sister Kim if she was unwell. Evening. Rode his motorcycle into the hills. Sometimes stopped at a bookstore or grabbed dinner alone. Night. Wrote in his personal notebook. He wrote poems, thoughts, and questions about life and death. He once wrote in his notebook, "What does it mean to be alive? I don't know, but I'm grateful for today." Most people don't know this. Keanu is a poet. In 2011, he wrote a small, deep book called Ode to Happiness. It's not a normal book. It has short lines like, I draw a hot bath and sink in the deep. I close my eyes and pretend I sleep. He also loves photography. He takes black and white photos of old streets, broken chairs, empty shoes, and shadows. He once said, "Beauty is everywhere. You just have to slow down to see it." From 2007 to 2013, Keanu didn't do many big films. He acted in small movies. Some flopped, some were average. Hollywood slowly forgot him. New stars became popular. But Keanu never chased attention. He stayed still, calm, silent. And then, something unexpected happened. In 2013, two stuntmen who had worked with him on The Matrix, Chad Stahelski and David Leitch, came to him. They had an idea. What if you played a retired hitman who loses his wife and then someone kills his dog? Keanu didn't laugh. He didn't say it was silly. He looked at them and said, I understand that pain. Because he had felt it. He agreed to do it, not for money, not for fame, but because he felt the story in his bones. The first John Wick movie came out in 2014. Keanu trained like a soldier, 10 hours a day. Gun practice, hand-to-hand combat, knife defense, and judo. He even learned to shoot while running, rolling, and jumping. He did 90% of his own stunts. The movie was not just action. It was quiet, dark, emotional. Keanu barely spoke, but every look, every movement had meaning. And people loved it. John Wick became a new legend. Keanu was back. In the film, the dog represented his late wife and lost love. But in real life, Keanu also once rescued a stray dog. He found it injured outside a mechanic shop. He paid for its treatment, adopted it, and named it Harley, after his favorite motorcycle. They became best friends. Everywhere Keanu went, Harley followed. Even on set during breaks, the dog would sit quietly beside him. It wasn't acting. It was real love. John Wick was a hit. But for Keanu, it wasn't just a movie. It was a reminder. He could still move people. Without loud words, without a mask, just with honesty. After John Wick 1, people started talking about him again. Not as the guy from The Matrix, not as that sad meme, but as a man who carried pain with strength and turned it into art. He trained even harder. Every morning, judo. Every afternoon, gun work, fast driving, pain, sweat. He was almost 50, but he didn't care. He wanted to give his best to every scene. If I'm gonna do it, he said, I'll do it like it matters. Then came John Wick 2, and 3, and 4. Each one went deeper. More fights, more emotion, but also more silence, more soul. And Keanu gave everything. He got bruises, cuts, his knees hurt, his back ached, but he never stopped. People are paying to see me give my best, he said, so I will. But here's what people didn't see. After filming, he didn't party. He'd go home, take a hot shower, make tea, play his guitar in the dark, and think about life, about pain, about his sister, about his old love, about how far he had come. People offered him superhero roles again. Batman? No. Iron Man? No. Because Keanu didn't want to be a Superman. He wanted to be a real man, a man who breaks, but still stands, who loses, but still loves. That's who John Wick was. But his life wasn't just about movies now. He brought his old band back, Dogstar. He wrote comics. He voiced video game characters. He stayed humble. No mansion, no gold watches, no VIP lounges. Just a motorcycle, a quiet cafe, a black notebook where he wrote poems. Today, people still love Keanu. Not because he's rich, not because he's famous, but because he reminds us of something rare. You can be broken and still be kind. You can be lonely and still give love. You can lose everything and still rise. After years of facing the storm, Keanu finally began to live a life filled with quiet power. He never showed off his success. Instead, he chose a simple apartment over mansions, public transport over limousines, and kindness over arrogance. He was loved not just as an actor, but as a deeply humble human being. Despite making hundreds of millions of dollars from blockbuster films like The Matrix, John Wick, Speed, and Constantine, Keanu gave away much of his earnings. He donated secretly to children's hospitals and cancer research foundations. He didn't want attention for it. He once said, "I don't want to attach my name because I just want them to be supported." Let's talk about his net worth. As of recent estimates, Keanu Reeves' net worth is over $380 million. But for him, money was never the goal. He once said, "Money doesn't mean anything to me. I could live on what I've already made for the next few centuries." He lives by powerful words. Here are some of the quotes that reflect his life and thinking. "Grief changes shape, but it never ends." Sometimes we get so caught up in our daily lives that we forget to take the time out to enjoy the beauty in life. The simple act of paying attention can take you a long way. "The person who was holding me back the most was myself." Every struggle in your life has shaped you into the person you are today. Be thankful for the hard times. They can only make you stronger. In recent years, he has continued to act, write books, and explore new creative projects. He co-founded Arch Motorcycle Company, building custom motorcycles with his team. He also made time for spiritual growth. Keanu is known for exploring Buddhism, reading philosophy, and often visiting Japan for peace and personal reflection. And yes, he still plays hockey with friends when he can. He still enjoys chess. He reads. He writes. He loves poetry. He still walks in the park and sits on benches alone. Fame didn't change him. Pain didn't break him. He didn't just survive. He transformed. His life is more than a story. It's a lesson. Here are some life-changing lessons from Keanu Reeves. 1. Kindness is a strength, not a weakness. No matter how successful you become, stay grounded and treat everyone with respect. 2. Pain is a teacher. Life will hurt. People will leave. But healing begins when you accept the pain and grow from it. 3. Live simply. You don't need luxury to be happy. You need peace, purpose, and people who care. 4. Never stop learning. Whether it's martial arts, languages, or philosophy, keep expanding your mind. 5. Give without expecting. Help others in silence. Make the world better, even if nobody is watching. 6. Forgive and let go. Don't let hate or anger eat you up. Move forward with love. 7. Stay humble. No matter how far you go in life, remember where you came from. 8. Time is more valuable than money. Keanu often reminds us that moments with loved ones matter more than material things. He once said, "If you have been brutally broken but still have the courage to be gentle to other living beings, then you're a badass with a heart of an angel." That is Keanu Reeves, a warrior of silence, a soul that walked through fire and still offered warmth to the world. Thank you for listening to this story. If you feel inspired, if you feel stronger, more hopeful, more at peace after this journey, then Keanu's story has done its job. And if this story helped improve your English listening too, then we've done our job. Don't forget to share this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment. What lesson from Keanu's life touched your heart the most? Let's learn from legends. Let's live like legends. Until next time, stay kind, stay strong, and keep growing.